Welcome everyone to this explainer. Okay, be honest. How many times have you found yourself just staring at a loading bar? You know the drill, waiting forever for a massive file to upload just so someone else can start downloading it hours later. Yeah, we've all felt that pain. Well, you're in exactly the right place today. We're looking at an absolute game changer in how we move data across the web. We are breaking down a tool called Achuray, which is pioneering this incredible shift toward direct browser-to-browser file transfers. We're talking about literally cutting the middleman completely out of the equation.
Here's our sleek roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the large file problem, what Achuray is, how it works, why it's next-gen, and wrap up with the future of direct transfer. Let's get to it.
So part 1, the large file problem, or as I like to call it, breaking the cloud bottleneck.
Let's dive right into this really fundamental question. Why do our files take a cloud detour in the first place? Sending a huge file over the internet usually subjects us to this totally inefficient process. You got to create an account, then upload your heavy file to some cloud service that slaps strict size limits on you. I mean, imagine trying to send a 50 gigabyte 4K video project at say 5 p.m. on a Friday, only to get blocked by a 2 gigabyte cap. Talk about a bottleneck, right? And on top of all that lost time, you're just forced to trust that this intermediary service isn't reading, scanning, or storing your sensitive data. It's basically an unnecessary middleman that just slows down real work.
Moving on to section 2. What exactly is Achuray, the direct solution?
Now, a quick fun fact. The name Achuray actually comes from Quechua, which is an indigenous language of the Andes. It translates to distribute or to deal out. And wow, that perfectly encapsulates their whole philosophy. Because this isn't about hoarding your files in some distant server farm. It's a tool built specifically to deal a file directly from your hands to someone else's. No cloud upload, no mandatory accounts, absolutely no preset size caps. And get this, the direct transfer is free forever.
So how did they actually pull this off? Well, we have to look at the foundational tech here, WebRTC. Essentially, WebRTC is what enables encrypted peer-to-peer connections directly between web browsers. Because of this brilliant technology, your file never actually passes through an Achuray server. Instead, it travels over its very own encrypted connection straight from your browser to the receiver's browser, totally seamless.
Which brings us to section 3, how it actually works. Let's look at the mechanics of direct transfer.
It is wonderfully streamlined when you look under the hood at how this zero upload process functions. It literally takes just 3 steps. First, you pick your file. But here's the magic. The file stays on your device. Achuray simply creates a short-lived private transfer room. It doesn't start an upload. Second, you just share one link or a QR code with the receiver, and you stay online. And third, you go direct. The moment they open that link, your browsers form that secure WebRTC connection and just stream the file straight to them. It's like handing a file directly to your coworker, but digitally.
Now, you might be wondering, okay, if it's purely direct, why is there a website at all? Well, the server handles the handshake, not the package. To put it simply, Achuray's server only relays these tiny, super lightweight messages that both browsers need just to find each other across the internet. The actual file bytes, the heavy stuff, move exclusively over the WebRTC data channel. Achuray literally never touches your actual file.
Okay, but what happens if a really strict corporate firewall blocks that direct connection? Well, that's where a turn relay steps in. Think of this relay as a blind pipeline. It carries the encrypted WebRTC traffic across that restrictive network. But here's the crucial part. Because of the end-to-end encryption by design, Achuray still absolutely cannot inspect or read your file. The privacy is completely maintained.
All right, section 4, why it is next-gen. Let's talk about the true impact of peer-to-peer.
Let's actually compare the old paradigm with this new one. With the traditional Cloud Detour, you're constantly waiting for uploads, you hit those frustrating size limits, and your data just sits there in server storage. But with a direct route, you get real-time streaming. Because there is no upload to wait for, the receiver gets the file instantly, in real time, meaning they can literally start working with it immediately while you are still sending it. Plus, it's completely private by design, because the service never stores your transfer in the first place.
And that brings us to what I think is their most striking feature. Absolutely zero preset size caps. Because the file isn't being stored on some middleman's costly hard drive, Achuray does not impose any product-level size limits. Your practical limits rely entirely on your own browser's support, your free disk space, and your connection stability. In fact, modern browsers like Chrome and Edge are incredibly capable of streaming massive files directly to disk without just filling up all your computer's memory. It's a total game changer.
Now, because we're bypassing the cloud entirely, it introduces this really fascinating concept: presence. Since there's no central server holding the file, the sender's browser is the absolute source. So both people see exactly who is online and what is happening on screen. This completely explains why the sender's tab must stay open. If you close the tab, put your laptop to sleep, or lose your Wi-Fi, boom, you remove the source and the transfer stops. There are no silent interruptions here. Achuray shows this presence clearly throughout the entire transfer process.
So when you put all of this together, you get a tool that is custom-built for professionals doing the heavy lifting. I mean, think about sending uncompressed video masters, rushes, or those ridiculously heavy editing projects. It is perfect for moving massive Figma prototypes straight to a client, or securely passing off large CSV datasets and database exports. It's also just brilliant for direct machine-to-machine backups, or honestly any team collaboration involving highly sensitive privacy documents that simply shouldn't ever sit on a third-party server.
That brings us to our final section, Section 5, the future of direct transfer. Introducing Achuray Pro.
So the main limitation of free direct transfers is obviously that the sender must stay online. But what if you simply can't? Well, that's exactly where Achuray Pro comes in. Coming soon as an optional layer, it'll offer encrypted cloud storage specifically for when you need to send now and just let them download later. It's really built for business control, adding highly requested features like expiring links, download histories, custom-branded rooms, and team management controls. It seamlessly blends that direct transfer speed with asynchronous convenience.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I really want to leave you with one final provocative question. Why hand your data to a middleman ever again? Seriously, when you have the technology to securely, instantly, and boundlessly deal your files directly from your machine to someone else's, the traditional cloud limits start looking a lot less like a necessity and a whole lot more like a bottleneck. Thank you so much for joining me for this breakdown of Achuray. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.